All right, let's get to the tiers. We'll start with our favorite U tier, which is the unknown tier, because for intellectual honesty reasons, I'm not going to say where I'd put rookies. You just don't know. For every Saquon Barkley, who's this awesome prospect who hits the ground running
There's
as
a Trent
rookie,
Richardson.
There's a Trent Richardson. There's a guy who just does not live up to the hype of what you thought they were going to be. So I'm not going to put him in until I really see him in the league. So this tier includes the Raiders, the Chargers, obviously Raiders, Ashton, Jeanty, Raheem Mostert as well. Chargers with Omarion Hampton, Najee Harris as well. Like if it was just Najee, this would be like a D tier team. With Omarion Hampton, obviously, I think he's going to be the lead dog there. Got to put him in the U tier. Giants, I put in this because of Cam Scadaboo, but also because of Tyrone Tracy. I mean, he was electric as a rookie. He has some talent, but the guy was a former wide receiver. He's only 2 years into the running back position. So another guy you just like don't know exactly what he's going to be this year. Browns, not only is there RB1 a rookie in Quinshon Judkins, their RB2 is a rookie in Dylan Sampson. So we really don't know what to expect from this backfield. New England Patriots with Travion Henderson, Pittsburgh Steelers with Caleb Johnson and Jalen Warren, and then the Denver Broncos with RJ Harvey and Michael Burton there. J.K. Dobbins as well and Audric Estime. Dobbins, another one where not sure what he's going to be with all his injury history. So all those teams, for just intellectual honesty reasons, I put them here. But I can go through and say like where I expect them to be. Let me do that first. I'll go through my tiers. You give me your initial thoughts, and then I'll probably try to give some reasoning for some of these after the fact. So,
okay,
Raiders, I think it's an A tier backfield. I think Ashton Jeanty, what he was as a prospect, we'll get to the A tier later. But when we get there, it has some backs that were in this conversation. One, Bijan Robinson, who just a few years ago was getting the hype that Ashton Jeanty was coming out, right? The last back to be drafted in that range of the draft, in the top 10. I expect Jeanty to hit the ground running just from what I saw from at Boise State. So that's an A tier. Chargers, I think it's going to be a B tier backfield. Omarion Hampton, great running back prospect. I didn't quite have him as high as those other guys that we just mentioned, Bijan Robinson, Ashton Jeanty, but a guy who's built for the NFL game, should join some of the best backs in the league very early on in his career. I put the Giants in the D tier just because I don't know what this backfield necessarily looks like. Tyrone Tracy, I have real concerns about his fumbles, about his reliability. 4 fumbles on only 192 carries last year. What is he going to be for them? Cam Scadaboo, there's big questions why he fell the 4th round, about his explosiveness translating to the NFL. Very slow. Obviously a mid to high 4.6 guy coming out of Arizona State. So I went D tier. That's maybe being conservative though with that backfield. Browns, I went B tier. 2 of my favorite backs in this class, Dylan Sampson, Quinshon Judkins. I raved about Sampson all draft season. I think it's a great 1-2 punch, and 2 very complimentary backs as well. So B tier for them. Patriots, I went C tier. They could be much higher than this. I worry about Ramondre Stevenson's fumbles. He had 7 last year. Travion, though, I don't worry about. He hasn't fumbled since his freshman year at Ohio State. The guy's uber reliable, one of the best pass protectors, was the best pass protector in this draft class. I went C tier to kind of hedge, but could obviously be higher than that. Steelers, I put in that C tier as well. Caleb Johnson, obviously a great outside zone runner. Jalen Warren, though, was not a fit for Arthur Smith's offense last year. He is much more of a gap scheme guy, and I think looked like a fish out of water at times, really trying to run that stretch zone. So I put them in the C tier. It could be a D tier, though, with all those things being said. And then the Broncos, I loved RJ Harvey coming out. I think J.K. Dobbins, I get why he was like not signed for a lot of money because of his injury history, but he was awesome last year for the Chargers. There was a reason he was a second rounder back in the day. So I put them in the B tier as like where I would guess this team would end up.
I love how you laid all this out. And I'll start from the top. And Jeanty, we're obviously all really excited about. And I think we can all say that he's not going to end up being a Trent Richardson type player that comes in and you just go, oh my God, this is not the guy that we saw scouted. This is not the guy we signed up for. And I think a guy like Chip Kelly will help him out immensely. We've talked about that at length. The offensive line pretty solid there. So I think he has an opportunity to show out. Mostert is like 35 and runs a 4.2 still. I mean, he's like my age, I feel like, Mike. So it's going to be really good to have that salty veteran in the room. Tremendous dude, Raheem Mostert. With the Chargers, I mean, it's all predicated on the fact that they've got an offensive line at both tackle positions who can get after people to start plays. And with the style of play and the identity that the Chargers want to have, they're going to lean on Amari and Hampton a lot. And Najee Harris being there, it's the same kind of conversation I was having with Jeanty and Mostert. You're going to have that veteran and rookie combination. For the most part, you look around the NFL, if there's a rookie that comes into a room, let's call it the defensive line room, you're going to have one eye on that rookie like he's coming to take my job and one eye on your own stuff. In the running back room, there's only like 4 guys in these rooms. They are the tightest group at least in the offensive side of things. I mean, even tighter than the O-line because there's just less guys. They need to keep one another occupied. I love the combo of an old guy, a young guy. And for the Giants, you put him in the D tier. I tend to agree because Scatabo, you just look at his ability to get loose. I mean, obviously a very tough runner, a guy that you can feed the football time and time again. And he did so in college at a high rate. But as you and I know, these athletes are just different at the next level. So until he proves that, the 4.6 is going to get it done, I'm not going to put him in a higher tier than that. We both love Tyrone Tracy. When he gets the ball, it's a home run threat every time. And for the Browns, I really love what they've done because historically the Cleveland Browns have kicked people's asses up front and they've run the football effectively with an old school running back. And now they've got 3 guys. And to your point, they complement one another really well. I think it was Sampson and Judkins that you were talking about in terms of being complementary. The Browns, let's make no secret about it. The best success that they're going to have is when they're running the football effectively, and they've got a stable of guys that which they can lean on. I like you putting them here. I also like in this U tier, which is unknown for anybody who's just joining. There is A tier teams in here, and there are D tier teams in here. So you get a little bit of everything with the A tier or the U tier, but I'm glad Mike projected it. Patriots, it all depends on whether or not Ramondre Stevenson can hold on to the football. We cannot give the football up. You and I love the way that he runs. When he gets the ball, it's like old school, explosive, bell cow type running back production. But you can't have that fumble issue. That's the biggest red flag there that exists on the offensive side of the ball. Jaylen Warren, like you said, scheme fit. Man, he's fun to watch when he's got the football. He's a tough runner. But with Arthur Smith, that wasn't working. He's a between the tackles guy. And the Broncos are the one that I'm the most excited about. Obviously, everybody's excited about Jeanty and the Raiders, and I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. But this Broncos team as a whole, the stew that they've been concocting in Denver is a violent one. And it's one that's predicated on dominating the front 7 on defense, having great players on the back end, drafting great players for the back end. But then the offensive side of the ball, they've got an all-pro on the inside. They've got a guy who is, teetering on a Pro Bowl every year on the left edge. You've got a young quarterback who's shown his ability to not only take care of the football, but extend plays with his legs. You become so dangerous and dynamic on offense. And then you throw a guy like RJ Harvey in there, and you've got a stable of backs. You've got my fullback, Mike Burton, ready to just blast people's faces. This offense is one that I can't wait to watch, and a huge part of it will be the running back room.
No, I'm right there with you on the Broncos. I've made no bones about it. I'm very bullish on this team this year. I think they are going to be one of the best in the league. And I think they are the biggest threat to the Chiefs. Since the Chiefs really began their dominance, how many straight, since Patrick Mahomes took over, haven't lost the AFC West. I think this is the best team since Patrick Mahomes took over in that division. The biggest threat to them in that division.
And styles make fights, right, Mike? I mean,
and they're like well equipped now to take down what the Chiefs do best, right? With that secondary, with the ability now to run the football, adding RJ Harvey. I'm very excited to see what they do.